jail, blood on the sea, blood on the hands of all the ones that lie. Storms are coming, best to get to running, or stand your ground once the bullets fly. They call me Big Papa 'cause I'm ready to die. When you meet your maker, you can ask him why. They call me Big Papa 'cause I'm ready to die.
They just let them do it. They just let them fucking gas us. It didn't stop them. They didn't stop them. They didn't give a fuck. Seriously, guys?
They'll kill your mama. They'll kill your daughter. They'll kill your wife and your auntie and your sister too. Nah, they don't care none. Badges, they don't wear none. But soon enough, we'll all be shooting back at you. Really ain't a fucking thing you can do. We got way more guns, we got way more goons. If we stand our ground when the bullets fly, they call me Big Papa 'cause I'm ready to die. When you meet your maker, you can ask him why. They call me Big Papa 'cause I'm ready to die. They call me Big Papa 'cause I'm ready to die. They call me Big Papa 'cause I'm ready to die.
You better get fucking ready. You better wake up. If you think this shit's fucking just some social media shit, you ain't paying attention. Three things are true. Number one, the black community told us this shit for years. We didn't listen. Number two, ICE is a white supremacist wet dream. And number three, the government's not going to save you.
How we doing, everybody? Happy Saturday. It's Saturday, right? It is Saturday. It is officially the weekend. What up, probably Nate? You're here for your MRI. How's your MRI going? Hope it's going well. Checking in from St. Cloud. Oh boy, St. Cloud. How you guys doing up there? You got Zach X running for your city council up there. Hello, tune in from Oregon, capital city. How you guys doing? How you guys doing? Sorry, I didn't know. Had no news stream earlier today. Just in it's like a rainy day, like a cloudy day. I just wanted to relax, and then we're playing the Gears of War multiplayer beta. I don't know, I just feel like this year is still gonna be busy. It was a busy start to the year. I didn't have really much. Thankfully I went up to my aunt's house on Christmas and Thanksgiving, because I feel like from December into January, February, March, and then the war started. It's like there's been really no pause for anything, and all of that is still happening. All the bad things that are going on, are still bad, and nothing's really changed. We're getting some back and forth on Iran, and we'll get to that. And it's almost like, like Preston Stewart even said in the video we watched the other day. Shout out to Preston Stewart and all the work he does with his channel tracking this war. It's got to be an absolute headache. Got to be an absolute headache. But as of a couple hours ago, just right off the top, Iran says a deal that Strait of Hormuz is close, but not enough to open the waterway. Right? We got to trust what they say over our own U.S. messaging. Right? We got to trust what's coming out of Iran more than our own White House and our own government. And that's nobody's fault but Trump, and Pete Hegseth and all MAGA actors. I mean, they continue to lie at every turn of this war that Trump started. Again, Trump started a war that nobody wanted. That's only made the economy worse, affordability worse, gas prices are the worst they've been. Everything is worse than how Biden left. and Trump has been president. You think he's been president for a year and a half now, right? Yeah, over a year and a half, and he hasn't made the country better at all. He's made it worse. The amount of scandals that come out on a daily basis, and I feel like the closer we get to elections, the more distractions, right? If I have it in my keys, it's like the jingling of keys, right? Okay, and the current jingling of keys is all of the garbage with the men and women's sports, right? Right now, all of the dog whistle hate of the trans community out of nowhere. And it's out of nowhere, but really, I believe it's because the WNBA is actually meeting about this next week. So, and because this is on the schedule, they're going to continue talks about transgender athletes next week. WNBA Commissioner Kathy Engelbert sent a memo to teams that addresses ongoing discussions around transgender athletes in women's basketball. I know many of you have received questions in recent weeks regarding transgender athlete participation in women's basketball, and I expect this topic will continue to receive significant attention from losers. Engelbert wrote in a memo, which was sent Friday afternoon and obtained by the Associated Press and ESPN. Wanted to reach out to share how we are approaching these conversations at the league office and to thank those of you who have responded to questions throughout the media with thoughtfulness, professionalism. The memo said this topic will be discussed further by a task force of team of presidents and general managers at a previously scheduled meeting next week. In an ESPN article published last month, Indiana Fever guard Sophie Cunningham voiced support for barring transgender girls and women from girls and women's sports, which is why this has just been the topic now amongst American domestic audience now for the past few weeks. It's been so bad, you guys. Like, this is truly like, I mean, Trump keeps it in the queue as one of his talking points when it comes to trans athletes about no men and women sports dog whistle, which he campaigned on, and then he continues to repeat it. But this is truly a non-issue, and it's so bad to where, I mean, maybe you guys are dealing with it yourself in your personal life, but I've tried to repair relationships with family members, that are very conservative, and for me, it's like I come from a conservative background. I know all of these narratives by heart. It's been narratives in the right-wing base for decades, and it never stops. Okay, this is just a recycled garbage talking point, and it's to the point where it's like, you'd argue there would probably be more people being comfortable with identifying as trans now compared to, like even 10 years ago. You know what I mean? And the fact that there are 0 trans athletes in the WNBA, 0, and there's 0. I mean, it'd be like as if in conservative world, there's just this like Avengers level threat of trans athletes just taking over women's sports, and like it's been a problem, and we got to stand up for it's a non-problem, and it's a problem that they have in their brain, but they've repeated this for years and years and years, going back to when I was young, watching red pill content when I was in my young 20s. Again, I'm 33. This has been a dog whistle for over 10 years now. And when people like my age are online all the time and we're seeing all this shit all the time, and then none of these delusions come to fruition of, like, again, just a bunch of trans athletes just taking over sports. It's not a thing, and it never has been. And it's just a way to try to segregate trans athletes away from men or women's sports, right? Because there's trans men that compete in men's sports all the time. Okay, and then when you get older, like I say, there's co-ed leagues, there are women's sports that men play. Okay, it was funny because I actually did some research, and actually I was proven wrong. Like, it was just kind of like a narrative that I went with, but actually slow pitch softball was invented by men. Okay, it was invented by men in the late 1800s as a way to play, as a way to continue playing a form of baseball inside. Okay, so I was actually proven wrong. I had to look that up. I'm like, oh shit, because do you know why? Because when I started playing softball, right? Because I always played baseball. one of the talking points from the very types of people, by the way, because again, I only had conservative right wing friends and like people like that, right? I didn't have any like leftist friends or anyone that was like challenging the government. I didn't have any type of friends like that. So this was all like growing up, right? And like when I'm started playing softball at the age of 16 and I'm playing baseball at the same time of softball and I'm getting shit. Oh, you're playing a girl's sport. You're playing a girl's sport. Like, cause it's slow pitch softball, right? And like men play baseball, right? And it's from these same people, the same fucking crowd now. So then I made a joke, you know, and because I know softball's for anyone, right? But then I truly did not. I really thought it was a women's sport, like originally, but actually it wasn't. Fast pitch is, but guess what? Men play fast pitch as well. There's fast pitch men's leagues, okay, and they don't. I don't know. The men can't throw it like women can. Some, I think, like one or I've only seen a couple male pitchers that can whip that shit underhand, but most men when they pitch that, it's just kind of like a right, like kind of like a thrust. Like men can't really throw that shit like that. But you know, with slow pitch softball is a predominantly women's sport. It's that's the competitive women's version of like baseball, but men play that too. There's tons of men's fast pitch leagues. When it comes to like fast pitch softball, it doesn't matter because when you get old and you become an adult and the majority of the country doesn't compete in a professional level at all, it's a non-issue at all. It's a non-issue period. When if you want to play sports past the age of high school, in college too, because in college it's so co-ed. If you're not playing for the actual college, if you're not playing collegiate NCAA sports, which also, by the way, the NCAA made a hard stance on that last year in 2025, in which they said that if you are a biological man or a biological woman, that is what the sport you have to play. They forced it. They forced the issue in the NCAA and made a statement last year. So at the NCAA level, it's not an issue whatsoever. So it's a continued dog whistle. Again, a dog whistle, especially targeting the WNBA, which has always been a target of right-wing conservative hate slop when it came to women demanding higher pay, when it came to more opportunities, right? That there was like the WNBA was like low-hanging fruit for conservatives to shit on and also hate on women in general for just demanding for demanding higher pay. So this has been just a repeated, regurgitated dog whistle. And by the way, too, any women that believe that this is like a genuine effort to stand for women, this is just a layer of new hate because women, like from what I've seen, like there's more viewers, more attention around the WNBA, for example, or women's sports. They still need to be paid better. But like for the last 10, 15 years, I'd argue that there's more effort being put into advertising women's sports now, like in general, and then they're putting it in entertainment. You know what I mean? You can play as women in video games. That's just one of my niches, for example. But these are things that were never a thing before, right? You could like maybe be women in golf, I think, in the golf video game, but actually like playing as women in women's sports like wasn't really a thought back when I was younger, even growing up. But there's there are slightly more opportunities, but the pay still isn't equal, right, to like how men get paid, likely because of the sponsorship deals, the amount of corporate interest it gets put into the men's sport. You know what I mean? The amount of cameras that are there that provide these opportunities for all of the male athletes. You know, it's not really there for the WNBA, but it has been, especially in like Minnesota. We have the Lynx are usually win. The Lynx are a really good basketball team. They're the best team again. We have multiple championships with Minnesota Lynx, but it's gotten slightly better. I would say when it comes to opportunities and whatnot. But again, it's not. It's still an ongoing fight. Like it's an ongoing issue. So if the right wing hate machine is able to be successful, which I don't know how, that's why this is a non thing. This is why I think they lose here, because it's a non issue that they can't fight against. But it's really a layer to hate on the trans community to really get to women in general. You know what I mean? Like the trans community is the shield right now that's just taking the hate, because really they want to get to women in general playing sports and having opportunities and having independence and doing their own thing. Actually, It's a dog whistle because these very people that are arguing for men and women or no men and women sports shit on women when they ask for more, when they ask for higher pay, when they ask for opportunities. They support people like Andrew Tate, who just got fucking scooped up again for trafficking, for human trafficking. And they support people like Donald Trump, who is connected to Jeffrey Epstein. And we still don't have the release of the Epstein files. We still don't have any information about all the women that were trafficked through and all of the elites that are connected to that. And Donald Trump is absolutely connected to that. Okay. We like the entire apparatus around this is fake. And then to just really not stick to any principles whatsoever, because the right wing doesn't have any. If you guys haven't noticed, they don't. That's why for me, the right wing is low hanging fruit to just make fun of all day, because they're just fucking just stupid. Like there's no thoughts going on. So, and then when they throw their principles away, when now they want to make their delusion a reality, and this is a common tactic of the right wing, but also just like imperialists, like Israel for sure. This is like Israel tactics, right? When the thing isn't happening, so you fist it and make it a thing anyways, right? It ain't happening, but we got to make the delusion real to prove a point. This is MAGA, by the way. This is their 4D, 5D, 8D bullshit chess, to which they're like, we're going to prove a point by actually having a male go and compete in the women's sport, which again kills the principle, because now they lose the whole we know men and women sports talking point. Yes, you fucking lose that by supporting Enos Cantor and then Royce White, which is an absolutely horrible person. Like the amount of the amount of women that came forth to me and told me stories from the past of what he's done, boy. But like again, MAGA and the conservative base don't care about that. They don't actually care about women. They don't give a fuck. They don't care at all. It's just to fist their issues through, and then to really get to the core issue of like women demanding higher pay and women demanding more independence. And because like you can't have it both ways. MAGA can't be like we want a nuclear family and put women back in the kitchen and all this shit and blah blah blah, and women can't have this, but we need to support women, independent women, and like women opportunity. Like it's hypocritical dog shit bullshit. The whole like, and it always has been. So Enos Cantor, who is absolutely fucking terrible, but he's decided to sell himself as a right wing savior. If you haven't noticed, all of their athletes and all of their actors and basically anybody that does have like a profile or like does something, and he played in the NBA, actually averaged 11 points. You know what I mean? Like he averaged a point. He played 11 seasons. Wasn't good. Never made an all-star team, but he played. He was a player. Actually did have some minutes too, but like nobody worth, like you wouldn't want to emulate Enos Cantor at all, like not even as like if you're trying to teach your kids how to play the sport, you know what I mean? Like he's not a role model, but like he is among right-wing fucking losers because they can rally around his dog whistling, and that's like the difference now. It's like when I was growing up, we had like when I was growing up, yeah, I was raised conservative, but at least like our role models were like people skilled at shit. And you know what I mean? And like they weren't political. They weren't making political statements. Like actually like people that were really good. Like my role models growing up were probably, and again, like humanly, but like just on the court, like obviously like Michael Jordan. You had Derek Jeter in baseball, or like Joe Mauer for me. You know what I mean? Like, I'm trying to think of who else. When it came, fucking Randy Moss. We're trying to think of Viking players. You know what I mean? Chris Carter, and Chris Carter has a great story too, and how he turned his life around. Okay, because the Vikings got him for cheap from the Eagles. Ended up being a fucking legend. You know what I mean? Like those are people that I would look up to. Like they'd have good messages. You know what I mean? Like they'd work hard to become the best at what they're doing. And this shit is just fucking shit slop of like dog shit athletes. So you got Riley Gaines, who's a 5th place loser swimmer. Okay. And these are heroes for the conservative base. So this guy, again, Enos Cantor, let's look up his stats for you guys. Enos Cantor stats. Just so you truly know, this guy is just kind of not even really the average. There you go. Career 11.2 points, 7.8 rebounds. You know what I mean? Shot little less than 55%. Played from when he played from 2011 to 2012, or excuse me, 2021. There you go. Okay. So it really was not really a big deal whatsoever. Role player, maybe at best. At best, role player. Okay. I mean, averaging almost, almost a double, but 11.2 a game, role player. Okay. Nobody really worth, like, again, you wouldn't even like want to teach your kid, like, oh, let's do the Enos Cantor. Let's go, little Jimmy. Well, let's go. Remember those Enos Cantor Freedom highlights you watched? Yeah, let's go and emulate that. Probably not. Probably not. So this is like low hanging fruit for conservatives that don't even watch sports, can't play sports, yada yada yada, to enjoy it. So last night or yesterday, he dropped this saying he's declaring for the WNBA and to see you at training camp.
After careful consideration and reviewing the current eligibility guidelines, I am officially declaring myself a WNBA prospect. If simply declaring who you are is all that's required, then I meet every single requirement necessary to compete in the WNBA. My team and I have carefully examined the WNBA's eligibility criteria and governing framework surrounding self-identification and
he can't. It's not even a full statement. He's reading it too.
Inclusion. Based on the current guidelines, I can and am officially declaring my eligibility for the upcoming WNBA draft in May 2027. I am definitely not here to mock, make fun of, or disrespect any community or personal choices. I am simply asking that the current rules be applied equally to everyone. The rules that represent the very values many WNBA players and coaches have publicly advocated for. My team and I are prepared to ensure these guidelines are applied equally, consistently, and without exception. And I look forward to the WNBA honoring its stated principles. See you at training camp.
I can barely speak English too. Again, what the hell is going on? Wow, crazy. Okay. It's like you can't. You gotta. It's multiple layers to just being like, I'm a woman and I'm gonna go play basketball in the WNBA. But that's the idea that the conservative base have. They truly don't understand the core idea of like what identity even means. Because like, do you know what it is, guys? When you're in conservative world, like before we even get to identifying with what you are and who you are, the right wing removes all identity at all, period. Like you don't have any identity. Identity with who? Identity with what? With God. Yeah, with Jesus Christ, your Lord and Savior. That's who you better identify with. Or whatever. Like you don't get to have independence really when you're in the right wing base. That's why in general, like at like a core level, they don't even understand like if you develop your own personal identity to even trying to become who you are. Like it's not even gonna get that deep because that's like woke and shit and like weird or whatever. Like it's beyond their understanding because at base level, you don't get an identity. You are a part of you're part of everybody else. You're all part of this big chungus slop of others, and you're all in it. And there's no personal identity, nothing like that. Because as soon as you start getting made fun of. You start being you have a spotlight on you because you're not supposed to speak against the grain. And that's in the right wing world. Again, then you start getting out of that. It's like obviously the whole system of it, but the Democratic parties can be pretty right wing. It's part of the same thing. But I only know what because my parents never supported the Democratic Party. Like they were always Republicans. So I only know what the right wing existence is like. I don't know what growing up in a home that's like Democrats, like establishment type Democrats. I don't know what that's like, but I only know what conservative like. So again, that's why they believe like all you have to do is just declare that you're a woman and you can play. Also, that's what the right wing propaganda is telling them that's what becoming trans is. When they don't watch like honest trans conversations with individuals that have experience, you know what I mean, and like what that even they're watching Fox News, they're watching Tim Pool, they're watching Joe Rogan tell them about the trans experience. That's who they get to. So when you are removing the ability to even understand, when the idea the whole idea around identity doesn't exist, period, that's why they have this clownery like this. Okay, and it's so lazy. It's so just beyond lazy. You actually have to declare yourself to be a woman, which then they will do, like Royce did today. Or is it Joyce? Joyce White, guys. You know? Joyce White actually declared being trans. You're not a trans woman, you fucking clout chasing piece of shit. But that they don't understand that. No, it's not. And then maybe they will even say that, but in this, and then the right wing people that are supporting this, you totally kill your entire principles, because your principles are no men and women's sports, but men can go play in order to prove my point. Yeah, they can go and compete, and they can go and compete against women and dominate women in the WNBA because they're proving my point. Okay, but how long is this point going to be made for? How long do they get to play in the WNBA? Is it just like a temporary thing? Is he just going to go play a couple games and then give the right wings their jollies, and then he's out? Or are you supporting men and women's sports? Because I don't support men playing women's sports. Trans women are women. That's why this shit doesn't make any sense at all. Trans women are women to me. Men playing women's sports is like this. And no, I don't support this. And if you are against men playing women's sports, you should be against this. If your actual principles are correct, or if your actual principles mean something. This shit's insane. The audacity. Thank you, NBA, for allowing this to happen. It's so fucking dude. So stupid. I think you're dumb. This is slop. This is what we call slop now. Okay, this is slop for slop people. Okay, for pigs. You know, and you got to give pigs slop. This is what that is. Num 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 num. Give me that. Wow, thank you, NBA. It's so targeted. It's so coordinated. So bullshit. Okay. It's so insane. Okay, and then Riley Gaines obviously needs to continue to keep herself relevant, because as time has gone on, her relevance has kind of faded to where now she's a Fox News host, which the right wing's falling off of Fox News. So it's like she climbed the right wing mountain to now see the right wing moving away, or further right, obviously. So she's trying to keep herself relevant. Enos Cantor is trying to keep himself relevant because he's done, obviously. And I think he just does right wing dog whistles now. Okay, whatever. He's doing Chinese Communist Party stuff. Okay. Well, that'll work with that's why he's able to tap into the boomer audience. Okay. Okay, well, that makes sense. But then, later on in the day, because again, we've covered Royce White before. we've covered Royce White. They're so mad what happened today. So if he got a foul, this is indisputably because she said men have no place in women's sports. Just shut up. Holy shit. The self-proclaimed social justice warriors feel violence towards dissenters is justified. Now you're all victims. A bunch of Israel. Just go fucking live in Israel and go do it for them. It's literally Israel propaganda. Like take all of this away and then put Israel and the Middle East in there. And it's like you can just slot it right in. We're both the bullies and the victims at the same time. Crazy, dude. And where's Royce White? There you go. There he's post. Wow, his one highlight from when was this? When he played in the amateur basketball, posting highlight, bro. Like this is embarrassing. There used to be a reality in which you got shit on for things like this, but now that's how America has fallen. They said he was a he said, and then they called Enos Cantor an NBA star. It's so sick. Can I find it now? Oh yeah.
this morning, I had to come out and say it. I'm transgender, and I'd like to pursue a career in the WNBA in all women's sports. I mean, pick one, but the WNBA is probably most suitable.
I mean, when they talk about the trans community all day long, it was inevitable for them to become trans. I guess they're jealous. They're jealous of the community, and they wanna see what it's about. I say, all power to him or her. Sorry, all power to her. Joyce, start taking the hormone blockers, the estrogen. Like you can't let's see something here.
I just for me,
yeah.
Personally, I hear a lot of people talk about us transgenders as as an sort of enigma, but nobody's really willing to just say no. We're not.
Biden made him trans.
Not doing it. We're done. Fuck off. And why wouldn't I continue to pursue a WNBA career until the day when people finally put some guardrails back around common sense, logic, reason?
We're doing this because we have to. Because we have to make our delusion true. We have to make men and women sports true by putting men and women sports, and then they'll truly know that it happens and it's a problem. Meanwhile, here's Trump voters, like in real life, I guess, not on the internet.
Is this how you expected the second Trump term to go?
No, not at all. I hoped it was going to be so much better.
He also promised no new foreign wars. We're obviously in this war in Iran, which is why we're seeing the gas prices so high. What do you make of the president not keeping those campaign promises?
I think he just told us what we wanted to hear to vote him back in.
What would your message be to him about the economy right now, about prices, about day-to-day life?
I would tell him, you promised us you would lower prices, bring back what it used to be.
It's 2:00 in the fucking morning. That was her for sure.
Hoping that gas was going to go down so I could do something, You can't do anything with gas prices, and you just can't. You can't
do anything.
Breathe at this point.
Can't afford to breathe.
Are you regretting your vote right now?
I have the past 2 years. Yeah, I have. I'm actually not even voting the next time.
Wow. Yeah, good. I'd rather have them sit out than vote at all, actually. You'd rather have like 2024 Trump voters not vote. That's better, actually. Way better. There's you gotta remember that there was 80 million people that were eligible to vote that didn't. Okay. And that's who you go after, not Trump voters that are upset and they're I want to sit out. Okay, good. Okay. And go ahead, please. It's the people that sat out of the 2024 election. That's who you go after. And it's probably going to be people that are from the left flank. Or maybe even centrists that are at the time were tired of it and sat at home because they're like, Kamala, no. Hell no. Okay. But the energy from Abdul al-Sayed is amazing. And we need more of that. Okay. But even Trump voters are yeah, just go ahead and sit at home. Please do. We get to that video too. Uh-oh. More from Trump voters.
I voted for Trump. I am saying that they are picking up law-abiding citizens.
Law-abiding.
Families, jobs.
John Gannon is a 75-year-old businessman and lifelong Republican who supported President Trump in 2024.
I wouldn't do that again. Not after this fiasco.
His fiancée, 45-year-old Venezuelan immigrant Yasmin Suarez.
I wish it was a skit. I wish this could be a skit because it should be, but it's not. The law in Biden
was detained by ICE at George Bush Intercontinental Airport.
She was a law in Biden citizen
in Houston in late July.
8 ICE agents swarmed Jasmine.
Yeah.
And detained her, didn't tell us why, and rustled her off into a car.
When you saw that unfold, what went through your mind?
Well, I was just in total disbelief. I voted for
distant disbelief. I couldn't believe the thing they said was going to happen happened. What the heck? What the heck? I can't believe it. They literally said they were just gonna start deporting like brown people. Just cause. And then they did it. And they were like, and we're doing it now. Oh, they voted for him. Golly. Got a good video from Status Quo. Damn, no, what social media did I watch it on? They had a clip talking to a Trump voter. Was it? What the heck? I don't know where he put it. I don't know where they put it. Is it on their Instagram? That I think it could be. Hold on. I don't know. But they talked to her. I can't remember the platform I just seen it on. Either way, so the real issues are there, but this attempt is a distraction. This entire dog whistle about the trans community. Kind of funny how these grown-ass men declaring for the WNBA draft are just proving all of our points with how real threats aren't trans people at all, but instead grown-ass men. There's a faction of society that just wants to be oppressed. Like, oh, so they're attacking Dejanay, who fouled Sophie Cunningham today. Do they have it up on YouTube? I don't know. I thought I saved the foul. Here you go.
Face coming down, trying to prevent the layup, but that is just a hard hit. That's definitely going to be upgraded, I think, to a flagrant 2, Ryan.
I think that is going to be a flagrant 2. There is wind up, there is follow through, there's potential for injury.
Without
Sophie Cunningham in a vulnerable position in the air.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I mean, there's no question why Sophie Cunningham got up and took exception to that hit. From
face coming down.
Goodness. Well, it was a flagrant 2, but I mean, fouls happen in the NBA all the time. You want to compare and contrast. So you have a bunch of right-wing dog whistlers. WNBA Dejanay Carrington blames white privilege after being ejected for a hard foul. I thought she said that. She said that on Threads. Yeah, she posted that on Threads. That was because Caitlin Clark's foul. Yeah. Hey, thank you so much for following on Twitch. Or thank you, Skip Fu, for the 12-month subscription. Thank you. You are an embarrassment. Now she gets attacked. I got upgraded to a flagrant 2. I mean, you turn up the heat. That's what's going to happen. Oh, look, I mean, there's an example of Caitlin Clark doing it.
It's impossible to catch Jordan Canada.
Oh, no. How could Caitlin Clark do this?
Get into the rack.
Let me just go take your free throws. What do you mean? Okay. Well, anyways, so remember when I told you guys that Sophie Cunningham really wanted to get back to playing basketball? In her last 2 games, 28 minutes, 2 points, 0 for 2 field goals, 3 rebounds, 0 assists. And then you got 17 minutes, 3 points, 1 for 3 field goal, 1 rebound, 0 assists. Last 2 games. Last 2 games going. Thought you guys are trying to make jokes in chat, and it's just like for nobody. Because it ain't for me. Listen, it ain't my problem. Listen, you're upset with what I'm saying is not my problem. Okay? It's just the facts. It's just the truth. Hey, loser, weren't you ordered to stay the fuck away from your ex-wife? That's the actual facts. Yes. Royce. See, a lot of you trolls think that what you're saying to me is like my problem, and it's just like yours. Like, and I mean that in all seriousness. I mean that so seriously. Like at the end of the night, I'm gonna go play Spider-Man, and then go to bed, and then wake up, and then come back, and then stream, and then you're gonna be mad at me. Not my problem. NBA Royce White abuse case, judge issues 50-year order. Okay, want to talk about protecting women. Minnesota judge ruled that former NBA player Royce White abused his ex-wife and their teenage son, issuing a sweeping protective order that bars him from contacting them for decades. According to the Minnesota Star Tribune, oof, and they put my tweet. They put my tweet in the article, brother. My tweet. Hell yeah. I didn't know I was quoted in a Yahoo Sports article. Fuck yeah, brother. Don't ever let anyone tell you guys to not do what you do, all right? I've never read this before. I'm like, wait, why am I looking at my own tweet? According to the Minnesota Star Tribune, the decision handed down in Hennepin County determined that White's behavior left his ex-wife and child plainly in fear, leading to a 50-year no-contact order involving his ex-wife and a 2-year restriction involving her son, in which they used my tweet. That's definitely me. That's me. That's me, all right. And then I wrote that because he was like responding on Twitter or on Facebook. Like a crazy person. Republican U.S. Senate candidate Royce White directly responds after we shared reporting on the court order against him with personal attacks and insults instead of addressing the substance. And I said, this comes as reporting shows he's currently under a court order to stay away from his ex-wife and child following a protective no-contact order tied to alleged threats and fear of harm. All allegations a judge found to be credible. Yep. I did that back in April, though, so that was, what is it, August? Credible with no evidence? How many times do you commies make this mistake? He responded. He responds to everything, so. When we sift through the debris, you end up looking like the lying traitors you are. No witnesses, no police reports, no other evidence. Judge found it credible on testimony alone with full refuting eyewitnesses. You're making my point for me. But the point is, you're not interested in the truth because you're a pro-Ukraine funding F-slur. LOL. There's Royce White. He's running for running for Senate. Just open like that. He's just like that. On Facebook, STFU cuck. Anybody who blindly believes the same justice system they claim is broken and racist any other day of the week is a liar. Let alone an intellectual midget. Because I posted about his 50-year no contact order, so he was attacking me. You're a commie and people with balls like mine couldn't care less what you say. Well, joke's on you, I only have one left. So I would never have balls like you. I only have one, so. I just wanted to see if you'd be dumb enough to accept the debate. I didn't even know, I never even knew I was offered a debate. But you know your ideology is just as indefensible as this BS order of protection. Get back to your commie propaganda, mass deportations. So, dude, these people need camps or an insane asylum. Like when Trump says, let's bring the insane asylums back, I'm like, yes, and then we need a Democrat to get in there and then use that and then put these people in them. Yeah, there's really no coming back from this. Like, you think this could be rehabilitated with just vibes? You think this type of behavior and rhetoric can be just fixed without serious like institutionalization? You know what I mean? Like I completely am down for asylums coming back, and we need to fill it with all of these MAGA, because they're not, like, at this point, especially they're running for political office, like they're able to hold. It's a sickness. It truly is a sickness. Well, thank you, Bernadette, for putting my tweet in there for a little color tweet in the article. Oh wow, they put a few of them. So they put the Republican Party. I got in there. The ruling marks the first time their son has been included in such protections. The prior orders have been granted for the ex-wife. Violating the order could result in criminal consequences, even though the ruling itself is civil. It's like the weave. That's why our court system sucks. White has since filed an appeal challenging the decision. His ex-wife's attorney, Susan Yeager, questioned White's decision to appeal, stating he's shooting himself in the foot. Okay, and then this was the statement from the Republican Party of Minnesota about Royce White. The following statement has been issued by Chair Alex Pleschak regarding U.S. Senate candidate Royce White. The incident reports involving U.S. Senate candidate Royce White and a no-contact order issued by Hennepin County courts are deeply troubling. While the Republican Party of Minnesota cannot force any candidate out of a race, which is what they'll say the Democrats should do it, but the Republican Party doesn't, ever. We're not going to pretend this is acceptable. Candidates seeking public office must demonstrate sound judgment, behavioral discipline, and respect for the law. These reports raise serious questions about all three. Boo! What are you, woke? What are you, the woke party in Minnesota? They're supposed to be Republicans. Call Trump. Call Trump now. Make Trump fix it. This is a Trump party, or this is woke party. Mr. White should immediately suspend his campaign, address the personal and legal matters before him, and stop putting Republican voters and activists in the position of defending the indefensible. He should step aside. Step aside, buddy. Oof. No, we don't do that. Remember it's crazy. Remember, and it's like, you know, all the attention on Graham Plattner, and I get it. And what he did was bad, and he should have dropped out. There's no equal attention on that in the Republican Party. Zero. And Royce White's a Senate candidate. Graham Plattner, Senate candidate. But do you know why? It's because Graham Plattner, while also a bad person, was anti-establishment. And that's just the facts. Again, bad person's a bad person, but Graham Plattner probably wouldn't have gotten all of the negative press if he was like a establishment Democrat. Like they wouldn't have dug that deep, right? But like, you know, because they did, I mean, you know, it is what it is. Like he did bad shit. Nazi tattoo was bad. Didn't really explain that one well, and didn't even apologize for it. Really, you should but like you see the attention though that's brought on anti-establishment type candidates. Actually, Royce White's here to uphold MAGA, but like Royce White has done absolutely fucking horrible things. Or like you got the Republican that threw that boiling pot of water on his wife or whatever. Or like just the fact that the majority of Republicans are like pedophiles and are connected to Epstein, or like literally openly abuse their spouse. But yeah, so there's like there's a very big difference between how much microscope, like only when it comes to, like, I don't even know, because we talk about MAGA and how bad they are all day, but then when it comes time to hold them accountable, they get a slap on the wrist. So I truly don't think MAGA will be held accountable at all if an establishment Democrat is in power at all. It needs to be like someone that will actually put them in prison and not let them out, or not allow them to get out. Thank you, VarsTA. I appreciate that. Yeah. So and like, again, it's nothing to take away from the actual issues that people have, you know, within the Democratic Party. And if there's like a bad actor or a bad politician, for sure. And it adds weight to the fact that people on the left are more willing to hold their politicians accountable to the point of removal from office. Whereas Republicans be like, we can't stop them from campaigning, but please back out. You're bad. That's it. Please back out, or please, you don't run. We can't stop them. We can't stop them from running, type shit. But again, to the frequently candidates in the Democratic Party and then further left have been ousted, told to suspend campaigns, ousted from office, you name it. Literally. Or are primaried when they're dog shit. They get primaried. Republican Party is like, if you are loyal to Donald Trump, you're good, bro. Oh, you support Trump? Bet you better not. You better better not say anything else. Go with our trans hate this week. You better hate trans people this week. You hear me? Even Fox News was questioning all of it.
Spot for at least one or two on each team.
Yeah, this is week 3 of the 5 covering the WNBA.
Right.
And I have to say, I am done. I hate the WNBA.
We know.
I mean, I don't mind women's basketball. My girls play basketball.
They'll get tired of it because, and that's, I guess, a positive, is that this propaganda is so bad and lazy and old-timey that they'll just get tired of it, because they do. They hate the WNBA. MAGA, the conservative base that's attacking this, they hate the WNBA. They hate women's sports. Actually, it's just a tool of the fascism that they got going on. But everything else is so bad. Like, it'd be one thing if Donald Trump was cooking with the economy, or if we weren't at war in the Middle East again. If the Epstein files were released at all, like somewhere, but like it was all in the manner they were released was so obvious, like they were covering it up, right? The crypto scams on a daily basis. Like if there was even just something positive happening. But I think even while this will be loud for boomer types and like old right-wing Gen Xers, maybe people like millennials, younger, the young base, the energized crowd that's backing like the Abdul al-Sayed type of politics right now, I don't think this is really going to affect that. I think this is just kind of like a fart in the wind. And again, but like I'm standing, I just want to, that still doesn't take away from the very harm that this brings upon our trans homies. Okay, and the increased levels of hate and attack on the trans community is a very real thing. Okay. So while on the grand scheme of things, this is obviously a dog whistle, this is obviously just a subversion, this is obviously coordinated hate, but hey, we still stand with the trans community, and we hear you. Hey, all of the hate that's coming towards you because of this, just know that it's all because they're fucking sheep. Okay, they're all sheep, and they're all being told to repeat this message to the point where even Fox News is like, why are we doing, like, what are we doing? Why are we doing trans hate? Because it's on one of the 4 things that Trump repeats in his daily ramblings, when he goes on TV and repeats the same 4 things over and over and over again.
But I don't want to cover women's basketball. I don't want to be a WNBA analyst.
Oh, you have to be.
We get paid to have an opinion about everything.
Yeah.
And this is something I don't care about.
Because also the money ain't there. You can't, like, again, when you've already built, the WNBA's already had to like kind of protect itself against this hate from the right wing in general. Again, when it came to women demanding higher pay, you know what I mean? Like, this has been a problem. Has been, and the WNBA has just been under attack by these same people forever. So they've already, the base around it and the fan base in the WNBA is obviously not right wing, because it's by nature, it's impossible when you have an attack on it in general for existing, and it's just been like that. The fan base is kind of like been like anti that. They're not gonna fuck with it. And when the WNBA has had really good basketball, actually, like in the last 5-7 years, is really, really good basketball. The stadiums are getting more sold out than ever before. There's new attention on the WNBA, just for example, just one sport. And again, that base has been growing. That isn't a right-wing base. The money ain't there to really fuck with it, in other words, because the base that it's built is not a right-wing base. You can't cook in a kitchen that isn't yours. Okay, the kitchen belongs to people that are against the fucking right-wing apparatus, right, for whatever it is. And that could be any community. That's why for my community, I make sure my kitchen isn't full of right-wing shit either, because I don't want to cook for them. I don't want to do that shit. I don't want to build a place for a hangout for right-wingers. Okay, if they want to change their opinion, then sure. Or like whatever. Like my social media in general is like for anyone, but I'm not going to try to influence for conservatives or try to like even play both sides with it, because I don't want to leave the door open. because then you get a bunch of hate slop to just remain. It's just kind of like a cancer, which is why Sophie Cunningham recently was like, let's get back to basketball, right? Let's get back. Well, we don't want to talk about this because there's nothing to talk about. And then the group you're trying to influence is going to rally because these attacks on the WNBA have been happening. They ain't new. So you're going to like revitalize a base that's ready to defend the WNBA, right? Because it's been under attack, and you're going to get a big wave like you're seeing, like stop fucking with our sport. So, because they always do in different ways, right? Again, started with women demanding higher pay, and now it's hate against the trans community, which at this point, again, there's 0 trans women competing in the WNBA. Zero. So there's nothing to talk about, even at face value. There's nothing to talk about. It's just drumming up a problem out of nowhere, just because you're trying to distract from the war in Iran. You're trying to distract from and they quoted the article that I'm in. They're trying to distract from Iran. They're trying to distract from affordability. They're trying to distract from everything. Pablo Torres, who has a pretty good sports podcast from what I've heard, I think he's doing pretty good.
There was no inciting event. In fact, when Trump got in office again this time, he immediately signed an executive order getting rid of not allowing any trans athletes to play
Thank
in
you,
the
Barris,
NCAA.
for becoming a prime sub.
There's a non-issue.
Yeah, in the Olympics and in the NCAA, you can't. It's all according to biology.
It's all already been done.
Those are the rules now.
And so now for this to become this big thing, because obviously it tests well, because obviously it does numbers online.
This is a story about engagement.
It sucks.
It really
sucks because
is.
it's exhausting. And if you discuss it at all, even to just say, hey, the WNBA is a pretty inclusive space that has a lot of trans fans, and a lot of you people who don't watch the W at all or care are coming in and claiming to want to save and protect women's sports.
You're weird. Weirdos. That's what I'm saying. Again, it'd be one thing if you actually did support the WNBA or women's sports, actually, but this right-wing based chuds don't. They hate women. They support things like the incel community. It's the idea to me is a farce. That's why I laugh at it. It's laughable. Laughable narratives, not serious.
While you're making it less inclusive and less safe for trans fans.
The Sophie Cunningham quote is, men don't belong in women's sports.
It was a quote in an ESPN story that then was asked about in all these interviews afterwards. And what she likes to clarify is that I never once said that I hate trans people. I'm here to extend love. But her whole language around protect women, protect young girls against biological men.
That's a subversion, dog whistle hate against the trans community, because that's what that is. But she's not hating the trans community. Calling trans women biological men is literally doing a hate, doing a bigotry, doing a attack at the identity of the person. That's what that is. That's what you're saying when you're replacing trans women with biological men. But right wingers and conservatives are like, but why wasn't it? And also Stephen A. Smith and other morons, or people that are like, well, I vote Democrat, but I can't do it to men in the women's sport. You're an idiot. You're an idiot too. Like I'm not a Democrat anyways. I hate all of it anyway. I fucking hate all of it. So, but this is that's the point there. Again, that point. And then you're standing for nothing, because this is not a thing that's happening unless you see Royce White and Enos Kanter trying to play women's sports. But then you should be against that, right? You should be against grown men that identify as men, except for Royce. I guess he came out as trans. Joyce White. You should be standing against that, but you're not. You're going to support that because you're trying to prove at some point that doesn't exist. And then you're just going to stay, and these types of people that play in this, because again, there's going to be actually serious, like a big story this week or something will happen to which this will go away. But the people that are like infatuated with this are going to stay there, and they're going to just be in this idea that men are in women's sports, and you're just going to be stuck like that. And then when you try to rally behind a new person that's going to be your trans hate whatever role model, you're going to go through this again. It's probably going to be worse, because first you had Riley Gaines, and now you're on Sophie Cunningham. But you're going to go after a second to last place track star or something? Someone that runs. Got second to last place. Is that who you're going after next? And the pole vaulter that didn't make it over the pole or something?
What it does, as we chronicled in this Riley Gaines investigation that we did, is it echoes the manufacturing of victimhood for female athletes who were born that way, to borrow their language, that must compete against trans people, even though there are vanishingly small numbers of trans people playing sports, and therefore suffer what is the equivalent, according to Riley Gaines' own rhetoric over time, the equivalent of being assaulted, having violence waged against you. It is the criminalization of trans people in sports.
Men shouldn't be allowed in women's sports. On its face, you, as someone who believes in the rights of trans people, you're at a deficit. You're starting from negative, because that's a sentence where it's like, well, yeah, LeBron James shouldn't be allowed to play in the WNBA.
That's why it's a dog whistle. That's what dog whistle means. Because then it's like, yeah, okay, but then you got trans women that identify as women, and they have to take hormone blockers, they take estrogen, they have to their whole physical changes. It's not just like, I'm now a woman, let's go, I'm competing in a sport now, which is what the right wing says it is. That's what the right wing will claim is like becoming trans, and that's not true whatsoever. I should almost be bringing on the members of the trans community to explain it themselves. It's so mind numbing.
Are better,
but that's the dog whistle part of it. Is yeah, LeBron James shouldn't be in the WNBA, which is what I'm killing that whole argument of like, how can you be okay with Enes Kanter and Royce White now claiming to play in the WNBA, but saying that you stand against men playing in women's sports? And again, I don't give a fuck if it's like, because it's to prove a point. There's no point to prove. There's no point to prove there other than to prove your own delusion. Trying to make your own, what is it called? A self-fulfilling prophecy. Trying to fulfill it, trying to make the thing happen that you're saying is happening.
At sports than women is the most ancient argument that men love to make.
Yes.
And moving anybody off of that is this total red herring that winds up being the door opening to, and those same men are now preying on your girls.
It's always men and girls. That's where it became too transparent to me, to being messaging, because it's like girls shouldn't have to play against biological men. And it's like, even if in this scenario they're trying to describe, if that were to happen, it would be boys. Everything that they do in these conversations is exactly that, to put you on your heels and to make a person who doesn't have time to think about this too critically to go, well, yeah, that makes perfect sense.
Dog whistling. That's what dog whistling means. Okay. And then again, when you get to the adult level, men and women play sports together all the time. There are women's leagues, there's men's leagues, but women play in the men's leagues like all the time. Or like we've had situations in a women's league that they need a sub, the guy will go up and hit left-handed. Or like he can't hit, but he'll like catch, he'll play catcher. Because they need another body out there and they don't want to forfeit. And they're like, okay, well, the guy can go play, but he has to go play catcher. He has to throw left-handed and he can't hit or something. And then like that happens all the time. This shit's nuts. Okay, total absolute nothing. Trump has now installed signs blaming past administrations like Obama and Biden for his reflecting pool problems. Oh, God. So you have that going on, and then you have reflecting pool.
I'm here at the Lincoln Memorial reflecting pool where Donald Trump put up signs blaming Biden and Obama and past administrations for the fact that his Lincoln Memorial reflecting pool had to be drained and has issues on issues. This is now the new sign people see, tourists see when they come. Quote, the Lincoln Memorial reflecting pool has been partially refilled to allow contractors to flush the piping system for the first time in more than a decade. Quote, after years of neglect by prior administrations, more than half of the 58 water supply ports were so clogged they were deemed non-functioning. Let me show you what the reflecting pool looks like right now. It is indeed half filled. And in a dystopian way, we have now cameras all over the National Mall looking to make sure people don't go in the reflecting pool.
The same MAGA that were crying about people cutting flock cameras down. If we go cut those cameras down, do you think they'd say the same stuff? No, that's to protect Trump's pool. He's got to have
So
them.
if you want to know where your taxpayer dollars are going, it's to create signs like this one.
Obama and Biden.
Administrations.
Biden did it. Biden is reflecting pool. Biden vandalized the reflecting pool, so that's why. NBA first round pick. I like how they have to put that. Former NBA first round pick. As if Royce White was even relevant. What was Royce White's career stats, you might ask? How did you do, guys? How do you guys think? Oh, oops. Should have asked first. Yes, it is true. You, the viewer, have as many points in the NBA as Royce White does. And rebounds, and assists, and your field goal percentage is the same. Congratulations. Congratulations, guys. So, yeah, he played 3 games and they logged 3 minutes and did nothing. That's it. You know, Enes Kanter at least has some numbers, you know. Had a little bit of a career, but was also not good. But, you know, Royce White here is like just, there's nothing of note. So you got Riley Gaines, Royce White, and Enes Kanter as your heroes. You know, I mean, who needs, that's who you got. Former Houston Rockets draft pick. Oh my God. They have to try to talk him up. Make it stop. He knows, if you guys ever see plane memes, it's the Royce White quit because he didn't want to fly. He was scared of airplanes. Dead serious. So there will be lots of, there you go. Royce White wants to travel by bus. Before he's willing to start, this is back in 2012. Before he's willing to start training camp, Houston Rockets rookie Royce White wants the team's permission to travel to some games by private bus. The former Iowa State star told ESPN.com Wednesday night. White's fear of flying, he said, magnifies his anxiety disorder. Oh. So he's asked the Rockets to let him use a bus for some of the team's extensive road trips. White said he's willing to purchase the bus and assume liability. A fucking chode. Busing to games, he said, is a vital component in the treatment of his anxiety. White, who missed the team's media day on Monday at the start of training camp in McAllen, Texas on Tuesday, said he hopes to reach an agreement with the team soon. He said he expects to join his teammates within a week if talks with the Rockets continue to progress. Again, this was 2012, so this is not happening now. What it's going to look like is every game that's drivable, I'm going to get a bus for myself. I'm going to make that bus feel like home so that there's a level of consistency in a job where inconsistency is very apparent because of the schedule. I'm going to try and level that out and make sure that my stress levels stay low and that my rest is regular and that my meals are regular and that as much as I can draw consistency from a very inconsistent schedule. Just word salad. People with mental illness, one of my most important things is that they have the consistency and routine. The girth of my request was, can I travel by bus to close enough games? Earlier Wednesday, White released a statement that detailed his refusal to join the team until a plan to address his long-term health was in place. What a pussy. This is MAGA heroes, by the way, guys. These are right-wing conservative heroes. They're fucking losers. Pussies. Actual pussies. There are often negative consequences to mental illness when not given the proper support, said White. According to a statement released through his publicist, California-based China Myers, often those consequences are more severe for the surrounding people than the sufferer, him and herself. I'm not willing to allow those consequences to befall on myself or others close to me. It causes me anxiety to know that serious consequences could happen if I do not express what I deal with, or if I'm not truthful enough to ask for what I need to be healthy. For me, hiding is no longer a healthy option in treating my anxiety or OCD, so I have asked for some help from the organization to ensure long-term health for myself. Yeah, I'm cutting this guy just off of all this. Like, if I'm the team owner and the team man, I'm fucking like, this is a lot. Cut. Fuck this. Like, what? The dude wants his own bus. So he wants to be an individual. Number one, wants to be an individual, and he's trying to make this whole grandiose thing. Like, okay, you clearly have some things going on. Thanks for deciding to come. Thanks for playing basketball, but you got to work on some shit. Clearly. Goodbye. What a bunch of problems. It has been determined that without a specific plan in place, the current workplace is not healthy for me. Jesus. I feel that it is essential to formulate the right plan for... These are quotes, by the way. This is Royce White quotes. I feel that it is essential to formulate the right plan for a better chance of execution, despite other timelines or agendas. The most important agenda to me is a plan that is healthy. Therefore, a plan that has been requested that will support a healthy work environment. In addition to this, it has been requested that the standard requirements for players in regards to this plan be voided because it's not a standard situation. Holy fuck. The audacity of this guy. It's everything I hear, though, from people that knew him in high school in Minnesota here. He was like this in high school as well, and then preyed upon women or girls at the time, girls in high school when he was walking through the hallways. And like girls were like afraid to when they'd walk past him in high school. It is regrettable that I cannot be currently present, but long-term health obviously should be the most important thing. I will continue to champion the cause for mental illness being met with understanding. If not, the ramifications are dangerous. What are you going to do? Shoot up the training situation? The training camp? Mental illness is a very individual-based disorder, very unique for each person. So for those who come forward and ask for help, a very unique support plan should be the solution, given the nature of mental illness. No blame is being placed on the Rockets organization. White said he's unsure if he'll start training camp sans a written agreement with the team. When White, the 16th pick in the 2012 draft, failed to appear at the squad's media day on Monday and started training camp on Tuesday due to what the franchise termed a personal matter, many assumed the former Iowa State forward's anxiety disorder was the culprit. White confirmed as much when he told a local TV station in Houston that he was working with the team to prepare for the proper plan for the treatment of his anxiety disorder. The team backed White on Tuesday. We are committed to Royce's long-term success, and we will continue to support him now and going forward, said Daryl Morey, Rockets general manager. The absence of any NBA first-round draft pick from the start of training camp and media day would create a buzz. The absence of an NBA first-rounder with a history of anxiety and prior legal issues, which affected his collegiate career, magnified the response when White was deemed a no-show. White, a Minneapolis native, started his career at the University of Minnesota, but he was suspended before he ever played a game for his involvement in a shoplifting incident. An investigation of a theft in a campus dorm and a trespassing charge kept him off the floor for his entire freshman season. White found success at Iowa State, where he led the Cyclones to the NCAA tournament and earned first-team All-Big 12 honors last year. That rebirth, however, included an admission of his anxiety disorder, a condition he discussed at length with ESPN.com in January. Some viewed White's challenge with anxiety as a red flag. The Rockets grabbed him midway through the first round, but some projections predicted he'd drop and possibly miss the first round because of his anxiety disorder. White said he recognizes his request might be viewed as a demand for preferential treatment, but the people who have experienced some form of mental illness will understand, he said. That sounds like gaslighting. Like, listen, I understand as having mental illness, but in the way he's treating it as if like you have to treat me and I'm special and and that's wrong. That ain't how you do it. The cringe. Everyone has some form of mental problem, but like when you actually are diagnosed with mental illness, like people that actually are not trying to make yourself like as if that's the spotlight of your, as if like I need all these special things, and like and you know that you need them, right? Or you know that you might need some extra care or whatever. But most people, the majority of people that need that care, are very thankful for it. You know what I mean? Like they're not like shitting on the person that's helping them get through the situation, or like treating the as if like I am the priority, and I like it's gross. It's gross. Okay. I don't really worry about that because the perception, I think, is just not valid all around. If somebody has a broken leg, you give them crutches. And even though mental illness is different in the way that the way it looks like than a broken leg, it's not really different in theory. Conceptually, it's the same thing. I don't think getting a bus is actually any more convenient for me. It's actually more inconvenient for me to take a longer trip, but for me specifically, it works well. It's cancerous. That's cancerous energy. Especially when this is a team sport. That energy is just bad energy. Like I wouldn't take him on my team regardless. I understand people and you work through that, but he's presenting it as like I'm special. I'm a unique case. No one understands mental health, but also is trying to gaslight at the same time. It's like, yeah, I'm trying to make himself a special case while also gaslighting any type of response. Like, it's like as if he thought about the pushback to this and was addressing it like in it, and like it's gaslighting. So that's why you'll see memes underneath Royce White posts of airplanes, because he's afraid of airplanes. There you go. No, unstoppable. They take planes too, Royce. Are we going to get a new article? 2026. Royce White wants to travel by bus. WNBA's rookie Royce White has anxiety. He wants to travel by bus. Oh my God. Crazy work. It's crazy. Joyce White. Wild. Enos Kanter used to be one of my favorite players. Now he's the face of mocking trans women. He's your favorite players. What is going on with X and why it's loading like... Oh boy, well. Antonio Brown ain't down with what Royce White's doing. Oof. They're okay. Let them destroy each other. Antonio Brown became a MAGA hero too. Yeah. So they don't beat each other, but he ain't with it. Two years ago, the WNBA was on the verge of welcoming in a player who had a huge following, especially with young girls. Attendance and viewership would go to levels before imagined. Millions of new eyes would be on the sport. They'd finally have a chance to showcase a product in a way that grow the sport. Instead, they are the laughing stock of the sports world. They were given a winning lottery ticket and flushed it down the toilet. And to make it worse, this was on... What are you talking about? What in the hell is going on? Stop Cop City said nonsense. The young girl is welcome. The young girls are welcome. The cancer is Caitlin's mob of mostly white men who never watched the WNBA before, who started fucking with the league upon arrival, calling hard fouls assaults, denigrating black players, asking for advantages. This is the pros, not checkers. The toxic half of the Caitlyn mob can go. Those who like watching the WNBA can stay. True, because she did bring that with. And that's why Caitlin Clark has been pushing that half. She's, from what I've seen, at least with her public statements, she's been pushing the MAGA away. It's like having a fucking locust, or having cancer. You don't want MAGA. You don't want MAGA followers. You don't want a MAGA base unless you're going to do that. unless you're gonna full send into it. And Caitlin Clark has like not wanted to, at least from what I can tell. Like for sure at the start, you could tell she was like interested in it, and then every time it's brought up now, she's like, "I plead the fifth," basically. I don't know. I don't know about that. I'm gonna play basketball. But like, you know, she hasn't really pushed against that half of her fan base, really, other than not really giving them attention or like feeding into it. Because like, yeah, I mean, at least Caitlin Clark, I guess, didn't feed into the Sophie Cunningham shit. But like the fact that they're both on the same team doesn't help. Doesn't help Caitlin Clark at all. Caitlin Clark could have been the face of it, but made her own decisions, or I guess didn't push back against her MAGA following, which is what you have to do unless you keep it open, and then at that point you're kind of cooked, because then you're gonna have to appease to them, or you're gonna lose engagements. Especially if you're doing social media, if you start influencing MAGA and then you stop, you're done, because people that unless you become big and prominent, and then you can flip sides like Laura Loomer, because then you're prominent and you have value because you can reach people. But if you're just like a regular person, or like have a non-influential platform, really, no one's gonna, your shit's done. So you have to keep doing it. You have to keep pushing MAGA bullshit. U.S. military pushes companies to dramatically accelerate weapons production as Iran war burns through supply. As you guys know, things in Iran are not going well. We're going to get a little bit more clarity maybe this week. Iran told it won't charge ships using Strait of Hormuz, says Vance. I don't trust JD Vance at all. U.S. Vice President JD Vance has said Iran has assured Washington that it does not intend to impose transit fees on vessels passing through the Strait of Hormuz, one of the world's most critical energy corridors, though American officials remain cautious as talks over maritime security continue. I don't trust a single thing JD Vance has to say about anything, actually. JD Vance details ongoing talks. Why would they not toll it? We attacked it. Why would they not? So I guess we have JD Vance made statements since I was talking about all this. We're done with the Royce White all that. We're done with it. There we go. I want to keep that article up. Got Spider-Man tonight. Okay, so the latest in Iran. So Iran says the deal on the Strait of Hormuz is close, but not enough to open the waterway. Iran said on Saturday that a deal with Oman and the control of the Strait of Hormuz was close, but would not be enough to free up the waterway. And the United Arab Emirates said Iran had hit another ship there. Agreement between Iran and Oman over the strait, which separates the two countries, is seen as vital to a wider deal to end the war, which began with U.S. and Israeli attacks on Iran on February 28th and led to Tehran establishing a chokehold over them, which everyone predicted would happen. Everything that's happening was predicted, but they're just doing it anyways because too many people are not paying attention. That's what it is. If there was enough people paying attention, if there's a real pushback against all this, there could be opportunity to stop it. But because so many people are inundated with other shit like men and women sports, look at the keys, look at my keys jingling, that these problems continue. And like it's open and it's not a secret. Hey, don't bomb Tehran and don't go to war with Iran because it closed the strait. And like start launching missiles at every base in the Gulf. Trump, I'm gonna do it anyways. Bibi was really convincing. He said I could put a Trump hotel in Gaza. Oman reports positive negotiations, condemns ship attacks. Oman condemned what it described as repeated attacks on vessels while transiting the strait without assigning blame, and said that negotiations with Iran on arrangements for shipping through Hormuz were positive and constructive. Oman stresses the importance of avoiding any actions that could affect these negotiations and the progress achieved in a manner that takes into account with the interests of all parties. You said you talk. Oh, you're the. I've been to a Lynx game. I love the Lynx. I support, unless you talk about a different person. Yeah, the Lynx are very popular in Minnesota. I started off my segment on that. So basically, we're in the same situation. Like, it's nothing major right now, at least. It's open, it's closed. It's open, it's closed. But when it comes to the situation, it's we have to trust what Iran says over the United States, of our own government. Which is crazy. But it's the reality that we live in. And they also have new demands as well. So we'll see if that'll be met.
Tonight, Iran is issuing new demands to the U.S. in order to reopen the Strait of Hormuz. Keir Simmons is in Doha tonight. And Keir, what are they now calling for?
Well, Jose, these demands are dashing hopes.
Thank you, Jojo, for the raid.
President Trump said an agreement could be close. Iranian state media issuing this list of demands that says the Strait of Hormuz will not be reopened unless America agrees not to target Iran or even insult Iran again, quote, in any language. America must remove its forces from around Iran and must lift sanctions and pay back assets to Iran. Jose, it was only this week that President Trump was saying that an agreement between Iran and Oman over the Strait of Hormuz could be happening soon. Now Iran says it wants damages for the war this year and even the war last year that targeted its nuclear program. All this will put pressure on oil and on President Trump. Jose?
I feel like it's a pump and dump. Like we're at war, we're not at war. We're at war, we're not at war. And so Trump can enrich himself off the changes in oil money. So they're going to demand some type of reparation.
Saudi Arabia, Turkey, Pakistan also signing a mutual defense pact that stipulates, similar to NATO, that an attack against any one of them shall be regarded as an attack against them all. What do you make of some of these types of moves? Let's talk about the alliance, for example. What do you make of that more formalized alliance? And does that signal anything to you about where the Middle East is headed?
Yeah, Omar, I think this is the result of concern about the United States and whether the United States is capable of responding. I think the United States has impacted on its credibility and on its trust in terms of whether or not the
Wow, that's Leon Panetta now? Holy shit. He was the Secretary of the Army when I was in the Army. Holy shit, he's gotten older.
United States can provide the support and the security that other countries need. And so these countries, whether it's Europe, whether it's Turkey and other countries, have decided to try to build coalitions that can provide for their own security. I think all of that is a reflection that there is a tremendous amount of concern about whether the United States can really provide the support system and the security that it used to provide in the past.
What do you think of this request for
I don't think they need the money. Shot all our missiles, guys. All of our missile stocks are gone. Because Donald Trump just said full sent. So Ukraine, I think Turkey did a deal so Ukraine could get some defense rockets, right? Let me check for you. Turkey, Ukraine, yeah. Turkey calls for moratorium. No. Thought they reached a deal to get some. No. Thought I had read a tweet. Well, good thing I fact checked. I thought Turkey was going to give Ukraine some defensive weapons. Maybe there is. There you go. Ukraine buys. There it is. They bought 70 ATACMS missiles and other U.S. weapons from Turkey in a major defense package. They purchased a significant package of U.S.-made defense equipment from Turkey, including 70 long-range ATACMS. Weapons transfers expected to be initiated in late August. 70 ATACMS missiles, 12 M270 multiple-launch rocket systems, 2,000 cluster munitions, 47,000 howitzers, according to a notice from the State Department. I'm gonna let Trump see this. What? We need those. Well, there you go. Well, Ukraine bought some from Turkey, which is what that's the new. This is the deal. There is no more. We have weapon stocks, which now it would be impossible because they would say we can't give Ukraine any, which is what they are saying. But there's no reality in which we could transfer Ukraine any weapons at all, because Trump's using them all in Iran. But the whole deal was so that way Ukraine could now start buying their own weapons from Europe, start buying U.S. weapons, while we're also taking their resources. It's the worst deal. But that's what you get when you keep trying to push for MAGA politics, and that's what that was like when Biden was president. When it came to Ukraine, there was a contact group. Shit was just too slow. But they met about Ukraine often. Ukraine was one of the pillars of foreign policy, and it's not even a marking on a pillar for Trump. He doesn't care at all. Not even a little bit. But we don't have any weapons to give now, especially since they were all used in a war that Americans do not support. Overwhelming majority of Americans do not support another Middle Eastern war. We do not support the war in Iran. Oops.
Maybe on the verge of an agreement to open the Strait.
It's open, it's closed. It's open, it's closed. And like I said, I personally don't trust anything that comes out of the administration on Iran. Army's top general is looking for an off-ramp. Help.
Is arguing, at least privately, that there is no easy military solution to the now nearly 6-month-long conflict with Iran. According to multiple sources who spoke with CNN, Chairman of the Joint Chiefs, General Dan Kane,
Raisin Kane,
other top advisors, that the United States needs to find an off-ramp. That's because the military options on the table to escalate the conflict could backfire, and air power alone has its limits when it comes to achieving the president's stated objectives. Sources say Kane has raised these concerns with other key officials, including CIA Director John Radcliffe, Secretary of State Marco Rubio, and Vice President J.D. Vance. Some say that he has been less direct with Trump himself, carefully conveying the potential downsides of escalating military action, including at a recent meeting where Kane specifically raised concerns about the United States' dwindling munitions stockpile. In a statement, a White House official said Kane is a, quote, incredible asset, adding this: the general always provides accurate, unbiased information and a host of options to the commander-in-chief, who ultimately makes decisions based on what he feels is best for U.S. national security.
Trump will decide.
Kane said that they do not discuss the chairman's confidential conversations with the president, the secretary, or other senior leaders, and would not comment on what they referred to as agenda-driven characterizations of those conversations by sources who are not privy to them.
Agenda-driven conversations. So not authentic conversations? You don't say. In MAGA? No. Come on, it's like the most authentic group in the country. They're so authentic. Just raw and real. So things are not going well. Yep, bad news. And also bad news, like when you got Pete Hegseth posting about record numbers of soldiers signing up. That's not good. They're going right to the meat grinder. Got record numbers of soldiers. Purple Heart Day. Oh, they're going after people that are speaking the truth. Revoked Secretary of the Air Force Frank Kendall's ability to access classified information, his ability to hold any sensitive position. Yeah, how dare you tell the truth? Right, this was Trump's bathroom. Talk about safeguarding intelligence. For all those feds that left their intelligence in the vehicles in Minneapolis. So good at it. Why is he sweating? Why is he always greasy? Is it the alcohol? Just pouring through his pores? Just seeping through? Fucking drunk. So anyways, well, I had saved another bookmark because I want to talk about this shit here too. Because this is like so bad. Because what's fueling, obviously, we kind of talked about, well, we already talked about all the domestic hate fuel, right, towards the trans community, dog whistles. But what continues to uphold, like, why are we still supporting Israel? Why are we still continuing to fund wars? And who the hell is supporting this? What the hell? It's more than just like political messaging you read online. It's in movies, it's in podcasts, it's in entertainment, right? When it comes to how bigotry works, and when it comes to how coordinated messaging works. All right. So on the one prong, like I already showed with the trans hate with the WNBA and trying to enforcing people to fight over domestic culture war shit, you have people like Ben Shapiro who also engages in that, but they fight with like evangelicals and others that, you know, will focus their hatred towards the Muslim community. Okay, and people that they push Islamophobic messaging, you know, like Jake Lang's, you know what I mean, where they want to go and like slap a Quran with bacon, just be whatever, all the things they would never accept for people to do to the Christian faith. But for some reason, the targeted hatred of Muslims is like completely fine in their eyes, right? And that's what fuels the hatred, or I guess it fuels the people's need to want to continue war in the Middle East, because they believe that these narratives are real about people they don't even know, right? It's all just like a repeated cycle of it. But we've had this type of low-hanging like hate of the Muslim community forever, right? In so many different movies, or like most of our TV shows that are focused around like the CIA, they're hunting like terrorists in the Middle East. Like we've had terrorists in the Middle East movies for the last 2 decades, nonstop, on repeat. You know, like on TV shows all the time, and like the terrorists from the Middle East, all the time, never ending. Okay, so when Ben Shapiro goes, the threat of radical Islam is real, Hollywood has refused to tell that story for 3 decades. Brother, what do you mean? What do you mean they refused to tell that story? I thought there was a meme showing all the movies of, I mean, have you seen Transformers? What the fuck? Like any I'm trying to think. Team America World Police. Have you guys seen that? Hello? Boy. Holy shit. I don't even know if I can play these clips.
Why is everyone so fucking stupid? Why aren't more people intelligent like me?
Yeah, this shit's been around. Okay? Been a thing. So when they're like, Hollywood refused to tell that story for 3 decades, it's like, lie. Not true. Okay? It's been pretty coordinated hate, and like when the real threat is fucking Israel. Okay? And the real problem in the Middle East is Israel, and not everyone else living their life around Israel in different Middle Eastern countries. Trying to call people that just live in the Middle East terrorists. Meanwhile, Israel was literally an implanted country. and now they're trying to expand into not their territory. But yeah, the people that are responding to Israel, yeah, for sure, they're the terrorists and not the actual like IDF. So Ben Shapiro, who's absolutely an actor for Israel and trying to further their goals, which is all connected to Iran, they're releasing movies now, and this is a common thing, and I'm seeing a lot of people fall for this. This is Angel Studios. Okay, Angel Studios did the Run, Hide, Fight, I believe, or maybe not. And there's multiple problems with this. You guys see who that was? Guess who the star of this movie is? You guys want to guess? Guess who the star? We're gonna watch the trailer. Guess who the star of this shit is? You know, you'll never. Ironically, it was supposed to be one of the biggest deals in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and it was supposed to open up the multiverse, right? Then he is the reason why the multiverse of the MCU absolutely collapsed, and like this recent MCU period sucked ass after Thanos was like after that. They really did. Like it was like there's some of them were okay, but it's really been buns. By the way, the new Spider-Man, very good. So this new era, this new era, which I think is getting into Secret Wars and shit, very good. I like this new Spider-Man movie was a completely honestly, like if you guys like the Deadpool vibe, and you know how Deadpool has CGI on it, but like it's kind of more grounded a little bit. Kind of has more of a grounded attitude where you're not fighting. There's really no like big chungus Avenger threats, and it's kind of more like what Deadpool's going through. I don't know. I just like the way that shit. The same energy is given to Spider-Man here. I'm not going to spoil it for you guys, but it's a really grounded Spider-Man, even to the point of like the Spider-Man's suit isn't CGI. You know, you watch all the new Tom Holland Spider-Mans, he's got the iron suit and shit. So it's like, I don't know how you would make that look real. He's like the Iron Spider in the recent one. So he's got like the Iron Man suit, but the new, his spider suit is like, like you can tell it's a real costume. And like, I like that. I don't like CGI. I don't like computer animated. So it's a very grounded Spider-Man. You know, it brings it home back to New York City, and like Spider-Man with, you know, it's good. So highly recommend it. And I hope that Marvel continues in that direction. Okay. If then Spider-Man has kind of been Spider-Man movies have really kind of set the tone for where the rest of it goes throughout history. So I'm hoping that they continue down a more grounded path, like the new Spider-Man. It was really good. Even I think this is the best Tom Holland one too. Easily the best Tom Holland Spider-Man movie. That's all I'll say about it. You guys should go see it. Anyways, so I don't know how I got into Spider-Man, but whatever. Spider-Man. Oh, yeah, because of the cinematic universe in Marvel, because Jonathan Majors, who was he supposed to be again in Marvel? Can't remember the Kang. He was supposed to be Kang, who has like multiple versions of himself. He was first. He's like a Thanos level threat. Like you could. He'd be like a big deal. You know, like Josh Brolin was Thanos. Okay, he'd be like a big problem for the Avengers. Like he pissed it all away. Let me get into the story quick. After a string of promising roles before 2020, Jonathan Majors made a name for himself with memorable performance in Defy Bloods, The Harder They Fall, and Loki, which is what set up for his next major Marvel Cinematic Universe villain, which was Kang the Conqueror. He was set to have his biggest year yet in 2023 thanks to Creed 3, which he was really good in that. That was what I saw Jonathan Majors in, was in the Creed 3. He's going to be, and it was really well. He just acted really well in that. He also starred in the lead role in the drama Magazine Dreams, which premiered at the Sundance Film Festival to a positive review. As he quickly ascended, his star power imploded just 1 month after both Creed 3 and Ant-Man and the Wasp. Okay, but obviously here's the problem. Arrest and conviction for the physical assault of his ex-girlfriend. In March of 2023, Jonathan Majors was arrested for the physical assault of Grace Jabari, with whom he was previously in a relationship. She allegedly sustained minor injuries to her head and neck and was removed to an area hospital in stable condition following the assault. Wow, from the same people who say they support women, right? See how all this is connected, guys, kind of? I can weave it all together. But like when I'm seeing like the attacks on the trans community in order to stand up for women, and then the very same people that are for that support people like Jonathan Majors starring in a film that's pushing Muslim hate to further support for the war in Iran. Do you guys see how it is actually all connected? It actually is. If you're against one issue, you better be against all of them. Better no time. We don't have time for complacency and laziness over here. Okay, it's all connected. It's all hate to try to distract from all of it. Because again, if you were supportive of women, there's no way you could go out and support this movie that's starring Jonathan Majors. He was supposed to be done. He lost. He was supposed to be a Marvel hero, or obviously a Marvel villain, but like, you know, like a big deal in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, which is a big thing, which is why so many A-list actors do it, because they're guaranteed wins. And like, yeah, and for me, I guess the movies have fallen off, but if they're going to continue the direction of Deadpool and the Wolverine or Spider-Man, this new one, like, yeah, that shit's good. That's good stuff. But this, he was supposed to have a big role in that. And because of his own actions, the trial kicked off a year later. By December, he was found guilty of one count of reckless assault in the third degree. In April of 2024, he was sentenced to 52 weeks of domestic violence program and probation. Amid the media circus of the trial, he got into a relationship with his now wife, Megan Good, and was accused of abusive behavior by other women who attended the Yale School of Drama at the same time as him. Okay. So you guys know they made Run, Hide, Fight, which painted school shooters as like leftists, right? That was like a right-wing slop movie, Run, Hide, Fight. Well, now you got Run, Hide, Fight infidels, right? I had to lay that context down for you so you know why Jonathan Majors is in Ben Shapiro Israel slop.
Your country is beneath contempt.
We who love and serve Allah fought back against the Americans and the Zionists from the scourge of secularism and the lands of unbelief.
Anyone gonna listen to Captain Saunders tomorrow? The retired Delta Force soldier with a new book out.
He's the polar opposite of those brain-dead protesters.
Given the current climate, should Clay Saunders even be allowed on campus? Mr. Saunders is a close personal friend of Chancellor Friedman. This is a decision I cannot fund.
There are three ways Islam will conquer the West.
It's so bad. Oh my God.
Through immigration, through the wombs of our women, and by using our nation's freedoms against us.
So again, this is slop that people that aren't the non-political people, right? I don't do politics, conservatives types especially, don't engage with the politics of the day, but they watch shit like this. They'll watch this type of shit. That's where they get their politics from, actually. They're too stupid to know that it's being fed to them right into their head, right into their subconscious. Right? This shit, and it's to the point where this is so like now the dog whistles have to be like so out loud, right? To where like they have to literally say, this is what we're saying. There's no subversion at all. It's just like like straight to the point. Fight back or fall.
Are you paying attention?
Like, bro.
Listen carefully. The great Satan America will fall.
The great Satan America. Oh no.
You are infidels. The bodies of women are not pure and the men's souls are unclean.
Oh my God.
Dangerous. Their goals are not in this life, but the next.
And then the way you cut it is like, is it a comedy? Like the way that this trailer is cut as if it's like a comedy, but it's like what's happening in here is like as if like the school is like you're having like a mass shooting at this school. Well, like the way it's cut and the music and like as if they're giving punchlines, right? It's like as if this is a comedy film. Even with the music, with the guitar riff, like that goes with comedy. Not with something like you're putting a 240 Bravo in your school bell tower and just started gunning students down. So are you even taking your own message seriously? I wouldn't.
The great Satan America will fall. You are infidels. The bodies of women are not pure and the men's souls are unclean.
What makes them so dangerous? Their goals are not in this life, but the next.
Anyone? I got friends here. I can't just leave. Listen to me. In the law.
We cannot run or hide from what is coming.
We have to fight.
We have to fight. I will be rewarded 10,000 times in the next life. When you die, you're nothing.
Only one way to find out.
That's the American way.
Oh my God. Yo. This is gonna be in the shelves with the Army Hammer movie too. What's that? What's that new Army Hammer where he like guns down immigrants? And they love that. Absolute dog shit. There you go. You can go see it. Ooh, even the prayer call sound in the background. Ooh. Yeah, shit like that is why we have a problem with so much support for endless money to Israel, because this bigoted hate slop garbage is like put into people that, again, I'm not political. But or they watch podcasts or whatever, but tons of and then again September, we'll hear about this again in September. Don't worry. You hear about run, hide, fight infidels. Jesus, dude. So obvious. Difficult to come up with a more bigoted, Islamophobic, and cliched trailer than this one. Mehdi's face. Oh, God. Yep. That's Mago will watch that unironically. I'll be like, yes. What happened? Uh-oh. Wow. For every tier of... Oh, yeah, that's Ben Gavir's tweet. What is this?
You see how this looks, right?
Oh. Yeah, he was openly posting genocidal rhetoric on mineral maxing, pedophile maxing. All right, I'm done. That's good enough. It's almost 10 o'clock at night. I can only handle so much. Appreciate you guys, but I had to get all that. I had to get all my thoughts out. It was bothering me all day today. Just seeing all of the dog whistling, right-wing hate slop. And that's what it is. Don't let it bother you. Like, try not to let it bother you. MAGA slop narratives are just that. Okay? MAGA, they're just slop. They're just to try to make you mad. And then when you get mad, they go, tee hee hee, ha ha, I made you mad. And that's it. Because that's all it's for. Dog whistles that don't mean anything. Okay? You clearly see it's not working at all. And it's not going to work to distract anyone away from the fact that we're at war with Iran. Groceries still cost a shitload. Gas prices have gotten worse. Inflation rate's worse. He's at like a 30% approval rating. What's Trump's approval rating? Trump lost an endorsement winning streak. What's his approval rating? Does he have a number? 35%. It's low by historic standards. Holy shit. Wow. He's worse than Bush. Wow, he's worse. He's the worst. Against Clinton, Trump, his first term, Biden, Obama, George Herbert Walker, Bush, Reagan. Wow, they even got Reagan on there. He's the worst. Trump's job rating at this point is on par with Biden's in 2022, but lower than that of other recent presidents. That's still lower than 2022 Biden. He's at 32%. Whatever. Wyoming loves him. Can we go like all 50 states? Why can't I not just get like a number? Minus 25. Wow, 35%. Wow. It's going to get worse. You guys think he's going to hit like teens? He's truly the worst president we've ever had. Like the worst president in the history of the United States. That's why these MAGA cultists just fucking like backhand him with ignoring. Backhand him by ignoring him is the best you could probably do. Because they really have nothing. That's why all this shit's desperation. The trans hate, the Islam hate, the Muslim hate, all of it is just to distract from all of Trump's bad decisions and just being a piece of shit. All right. We got more tomorrow. I'll be back on maybe tomorrow. Maybe we'll see. But I got Spoderman coming up next, guys, on my game channel. Gaming, Mercado Gaming, YouTube. Appreciate everybody for being over here. Been a lot of viewers lately. Been playing Gears of War. We had 4 hours of Gears of War today. But we've been playing through Spider-Man. It's been our playthrough series game. And so we beat Spider-Man, the first one last night. And now we got Miles Morales. Spider-Man Miles Morales is up next. So I'll put this link in the chat. And everybody else, come on over. If you're watching on Twitch, if you're watching on Facebook, come on over to my gaming channel for Miles Morales tonight. Thank you guys for tuning in. Appreciate you guys for watching. Leave a like. Subscribe to the YouTube channel if you guys haven't done so. Join the Discord server. We have a Discord. I think a lot of the trolls have left it. We had a big influx of people leaving. And I think they joined to like stalk my community, and then they realized, oh, there's not really a whole lot to stalk because we're just like normal people. A lot of people. I have a list here of who leaves my server. Like we can see every single person that leaves and joins too. If you join too, we say hi. But we have a list of everybody that's left. So I think it's like thinning out. But if you want to join our Discord server, we do have a great server. Dude, it's a good server, darn good server. Join and be a part of it. But I appreciate you guys. See you guys later. Maybe tomorrow, but definitely Monday. Okay, so for sure Monday. Just stay tuned for tomorrow. Have a good night, guys. See you on the next one. Peace.
Blood on the wheel, blood on the sea, blood on the hands of all the ones that lie. Storms are coming, best to get to running, or stand your ground once the bullets fly. They call me Big Papa 'cause I'm ready to die. When you meet your maker, you can ask him why. They call me Big Papa 'cause I'm ready to die. They just let them do it. They just let them fucking gas us. They didn't stop them. They didn't stop them. They didn't give a fuck. Seriously, guys? They'll kill your mama. They'll kill your daughter. They'll kill your wife and your auntie and your sister too. Nah, they don't care none. Badges, they don't wear none. But soon enough, we'll all be shooting back at you. fucking thing you can do. We got way more guns, we got way more goons. If we stand our ground when the bullets fly, they call me Big Papa 'cause I'm ready to die. When you meet your maker, you can ask him why. They call me Big Papa 'cause I'm ready to die. They call me Big Papa 'cause I'm ready to die. They call me Big Papa 'cause I'm ready to die. You better get fucking ready. You better wake up. If you think this shit's fucking just some social media shit, you ain't paying attention. 3 things are true. Number 1, the black community told us this shit for years. We didn't listen. Number 2, ICE is a white supremacist wet dream. And number 3, the government's not going to save you.